In today's video, I will be reading a letter of explanation that got visa approved in 2026 after an initial refusal in 2025. So if this is your first time, you're welcome to Drift. I'd like you to click the like button, hit the notification button so that you get updates whenever I post a video. In this channel, we tell you all you need to know about your Canadian travel or your study permit or your visit visa, and also other countries, other European countries. If your dream is living any part of the world, especially Africa, to Europe and to America, this is the channel for you. You can go through our playlist and see other letter of explanations we have written and read that have successfully granted people study permit. So in today's video, what I'll be reading will help you, guide you when it comes to writing your letter of explanation. And if you need us to professionally write it for you, you can send us an email or go to the description. And book a one-on-one session with us, or send an email saying you want us to write your letter of explanation or your statement of purpose, like some people call it. Well, my target today is for people who have been refused visa initially. How you write your letter of explanation when you have been refused visa is different from how you write it when you are writing for the first time. Over the years, I've heard people say you don't need to write more than 1 or 2 pages. The visa officer does not have time to read it. I've not written any letter of explanation that is less than 7 pages, and 70 to 80% of them have pulled through. They've been successful. So this belongs to a doctor client of mine that was refused the visa, and then she met us on YouTube, and we wrote the letter and helped her in other ways. Now I want you to know that 40 to 50% of your application success depends on how well the letter is written, because in the Canadian visa, either your study permit or your visit visa, you don't go for physical interviews. Your interview is your letter. The letter describes or tells the visa officer your academic journey, your employment journey, your ties to your home country. Everything needs to be able to be knitted together, and there must be a synchronization between the documents you have and the letter that you have written. So this client, you can see the link to the video of her testimonial so that you will see what I'm talking about. Just a brief testimonial of hers, and then I'll put a video also of the full testimonial so that you watch it while she's in Canada. You know, the video she did when in Canada. So she applied for a course in mental health, a postgraduate diploma or a postgraduate certificate course in mental health in Alberta, and was refused before we wrote the letter. So let's start. You start a letter by writing the address at the top left-hand corner, addressing the visa officer. The visa officer, Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship Canada, wherever it is. You just write the letter wherever country you're writing from. Then you now write the heading, Letter of Explanation for Canadian Study Permit Reapplication. That's how you do it. You say, Dear Sir, my name is this. I was born on this, a Ghanaian citizen, an American citizen, currently residing at, put your address. I am a licensed medical doctor in whatever country and a registered member of the Medical and Dental Council. So you can just put any association that accredits that your profession, right? Since completing my Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery, MBBS, from the university, you put the university and put the address. I've gained extensive professional experience across several reputable healthcare institutions, including but not limited to, so you can now list all the experiences that you have had, right? You list all the experiences that you've had. List them, the companies, and you said, where I currently practice as a medical doctor or officer, where I manage patients with a wide range of mental health and addiction disorders until my meritorious promotion to the position of head of department mental health in June 2025, where I am now saddled with the responsibility of leading and managing the departmental team, overseeing daily operations and making strategic decisions, right? Improving patient care and departmental efficiency, and collaborating with other departments and stakeholders. Full stop. You see, we've been talking about her introduction, her name, where she lives, the course that she read, where she currently works, started from the different places she worked, now narrowed it down to where she currently works and how it aligns to the proposed course that she wants to do. You must know, okay, what have I been doing? What is she currently doing? And how it aligns to what she intends to do. So there must be a link between what you are doing now, your job position, and what you will do. So I'm already giving you a tip. So write your comments if you're learning something. Write your comments. If this is your first time, leave a comment, ask a question. If this has helped you so far, just say, wow, this is, you can leave a comment so the algorithm can push the video to other people. Thank you. Okay, let's continue. My medical training and work experience have sharpened my interest in specialized mental health care, particularly in recovery and rehabilitation, which has inspired my pursuit of advanced professional training abroad. I've been formally admitted into Northwest College, Edmonton, Alberta, DLI number, you put the DLI number, to pursue a full-time post-secondary program in mental health recovery practitioner. The program commences on 4th May 2026 and is scheduled to end on 18 December 2026. You can see we didn't just start with the school. Okay, I just got admission. That's where some of you make mistakes. You just start with the school where you got admission. No. You can start talking about the course. How the course relates with your current work status, and how that the course will represent an improvement to what you already know. How it aligns with your passion and your dream. All right. And the next paragraph, I have confirmed my admission by paying the non-transferable tuition deposit of 1,000 Canadian dollars as required by the institution, and I've secured all necessary supporting documentation, including the letter of admission and proof of acceptance letter, PAL, and provincial attestation letter. My Alberta student number is this. I am therefore submitting this letter of explanation in support of my reapplication for a Canadian study permit. This reapplication provides me with the opportunity to address the initial grant of refusal as communicated in the GCMS notes, and to present additional clarifications regarding my academic intentions, financial preparedness, and strong social and professional ties to Nigeria. You see, so it now tells, when the visa officer is reading, he knows the person talking, and he has seen the background and why the person is going to study what the person wants to study, the academic background, the work background, the current job role, the acceptance, the school the person is going to study, and why the person is writing this letter as a reapplication. It's not a first time letter, it's a reapplication. All right. So the next important heading after the introduction is personal motivation. You need to tell them why you're personally motivated. There is no one cap that fits all or one size that fits all. You can do whatever you want, but this is just a template. Do not copy, do not write word for word, because these are different scenarios. If you go read my other letters, check the lists, look at the link, you see the list of other letter of explanations, you see that the different approaches, it's not the same, but the details of every client is well captured. All right. And let me be quick to point a disclaimer. Most people meet me and they say, write a letter of explanation for me after they've been refused. Not knowing that even if you take a wrong approach, you present wrong documents or not the appropriate documents, you still be refused, even if you write the best letters, because the letter will only be amplifying your wrong approach. That's why we usually advise people, book a session with us. And some of you want to book session with us and you think we are scam. Somebody whose face is on YouTube is not a scammer. All right? We've been here for years, so there is no way we would have been scamming people and we are still here. You can book, we can apply for you, and you get and you don't get, it doesn't mean we are scammers, all right? So when somebody is on YouTube, the person is not a scammer. Most at times is when you don't have a fees associated to what you're doing. Is that okay? So let's talk about the personal motivation. So if you want us to write for you, you can just come. If you know you are sure of what you are doing, we can go ahead and write, look at your documentation and write. But most times, I usually advise people, let us speak with us one-on-one, let us handle the entire thing and write. So we give you strategy, we write about it. That'll be better. Growing up in Nigeria, I witnessed firsthand the silent battles of mental illness and addiction in my community. As a child, I had close friends and neighbors whose families were torn apart because their loved ones were struggling with depression, substance abuse, or psychosis. The stigma surrounding mental illness often meant these individuals were left untreated, misunderstood, or hidden away. This reality stirred me in a deep desire to become a medical doctor, not just to treat physical ailments, but to stand in the gap for those whose suffering is invisible, yet profoundly life-altering, all right? During my medical training and subsequent practice, my exposure to psychiatric patients, particularly at this particular hospital, she mentioned it, and later in my current role at the Psychiatric Hospital and Rehabilitation Center, reinforced my conviction that mental health care is one of my country's, mention your country there, most urgent healthcare needs. According to the World Health Organization, you can see we started talking about her motivation, starting from her personal life, her upbringing, then now advancing it to a national concept, how is a problem, and then using statistics from a recognized body to back up the claims. So according to the World Health Organization, WHO, 1 in 4 people will experience a mental or neurological disorder in their lifetime, yet nearly 85% of people in low and middle income countries receive no treatment. In Nigeria alone, the Federal Ministry of Health estimates that over 60 million Nigerians live with some form of mental illness, but the country has less than 300 practicing psychiatrists. You see it? There is a lot of people suffering from mental illness, so but there's shortage of manpower. So this justifies the reason, apart for her going to study the course, shortage of manpower in the country, the prevalent cases of people who are suffering. So not people that want to just go and read management, say I want to manage. Not really, this is real, this is solid. But she was refused the first time because she did not put it down well. It matters what you write. You might be a qualified candidate and yet refused because you wrote wrongly. So it's not because you're not qualified. Most times you did not capture yourself well. Right? The gap is devastating and I've seen its impact on the ground. My initial motivation to pursue medicine was anchored in compassion for those suffering in silence. But my professional journey has sharpened that into a clear focus, which is mental health recovery and rehabilitation. All right. Addiction related disorders, in particular, are rising sharply in my country. A United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC in bracket, report in 2018 found that 14.4% of people in my country, you can use your own country statistics, about 14.3 million people between the ages of 15 to 64 use drugs, with many developing serious dependency issues. So we are still talking about personal motivation. Sadly, access to structured recovery programs is scarce. This reality, combined with the daily issues I handle, has inspired me to deepen my expertise in recovery-focused interventions that go beyond clinical diagnosis and integrate counseling, community support, and structured rehabilitation. This is why I've chosen the Mental Health Recovery Practitioner Program at Northwest College. The curriculum at Northwest is uniquely structured with specialized modules such as recovery practitioner skills, mental health first aid, non-violent crisis intervention. So I was writing the courses, the specific courses that the college offers. So it goes to tell the visa officer that you are not just writing anything, you are using you are mentioning specific courses that will be offered as part of the total program that will help you in achieving your aim or your aim or your motivation, that is helping you tell the officer that, okay, I'm not just applying for this course. I applied for this course specifically because of what they offer and how it's going to help me achieve my goal. That's the whole point. So he's telling the officer that you have gone to do an in-depth search and study in your proposed course of study. And that's why, because everything is study permit. So it must be study focused, study centered. So we listed the courses, and then I now added the mandatory practicum and work integrated learning components ensures that I will gain supervised workplace verified experience, while the involvement of practicing clinicians and health professionals as faculty members guarantees that training is both current and workforce relevant. So you see, I think that's that about that. The other things I wrote, but let's stop here. The next thing is that I went on to address the grounds of rejection. The other things I wrote in the personal motivation, how I tied the long-term vision of this candidate to Nigeria's healthcare landscape and how it's going to help her build a rehabilitation center and stuff like that. So let's go to addressing the refusal reasons. This client was refused based on financial issues that was raised in the GCMS notes. The first reason is that the applicant's assets and financial situation are insufficient to support the stated purpose of travel. You know, this generic statement. So I said, in my previous application, the visa officer considered my financial resources insufficient. I have now addressed these by presenting only my personal funds and verifiable income streams. Specifically, my personal bank account shows a closing balance of, we mentioned it, as at November 17, 2025, which is exclusively my own bank statement, with primary income source as, so she mentioned, I wrote where she earns her salary from, right? And I mentioned the amount that she earns. So I now say the explanations of how these monies are accrued are as follows. I've paid 11,500 card as tuition directly to Northwest College, securing my admission. A gift of deed from my mother of 15 million naira, a weekly income of 100,000 naira from my business, rental income from businesses. So we spelled out all the areas which she earns money. And that's a mistake a lot of people do. They just go and present. Some people do the mistake of even presenting somebody's account statement. You do the mistake of even presenting someone's account statement. That will not fly. So we went ahead to talk about her refusal reason, the second refusal reason. And the second refusal reason is that she used her mother's bank statement. So we addressed the issue and say, okay, although the funds that were reflected in my mother's bank statement initially were transparently sourced and acquired and were available for me and for my study purpose, in this reapplication, I have removed my mother's bank statement and any dependency on external sponsorship, as she has gifted me, instead of having her be a primary source. To this effect, she has gifted me the sum of this amount. This amount is in my bank statement. I put the bank details, and hence I am now relying exclusively on my own account savings, savings and earnings. Hence, every document submitted is directly traceable to me. This change reflects both ownership and accountability. The funds are mine, accumulated through my work, my business, and investments. There's no ambiguity about the provenance of my financial resources. So we now address the other reasons of lump sum. Said a lot of things. I cannot read them. We are over 20-something minutes. Then ground refusal 5. Now, one of the things you need to know is that she was just refused on a broad generic reason of your assets and your financial situations, and then the officer decision notes said one or two things, but we had to break them down. All right? Break them down into up to 6 refusal reasons, and we addressed every one of them. So after we did that, into 7 refusal reasons. Then I now wrote about a short-term plan of 0 to 5 years and a medium-term plan of up to 10 to 20 years. That's the structure of the letter. And then we wrote about the ties to home country and the rest. If this video has benefited you in any way, I would like you to write your comments, ask your questions. And if you need me to read what I wrote about her ties to home country, and what I also wrote about her future plans, her long-term plans, please write it in the comment section. Tell me you want me to read it out so that you know how to write it. And then if you want me to write this for you professionally, please send a mail to us. The cost, so that you will not assume the cost is 150,000 naira. That is about 150 card to write a professional letter. Don't forget that 50% of your application success depends on the quality of letter that you write. So once again, thank you for watching. If you're a first-time subscriber or first-time person that is watching, thank you for staying up till this time. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button until I come your way again next time. Keep drifting.